Okay, we have the final part 2 of evolution, fairy tale for adults. Okay, um, this time I'm going to use two literary contributions, and the first is the Bible, of course. Exodus 20 verses 11, Genesis 1 and 2 gives the account of the beginning of everything. Job 39 through 41 is really interesting. Look, whether you're evolutionist, atheist, what have you, it's a really good 3 chapters to read. It really talks about the differences in the animal kingdom and how the stars and the sun and the moon, they come up, they go down, they go there, they do this, everything happens in patterns, and Job is in awe of it. Interestingly, too, that the book of Job is the oldest book written in the Bible. So, very interesting. And then the second one, yes, I did take some time to read through the origin of the species, and I didn't buy it. I can't see wasting my money on that. There, no dig for you guys, because evolutionists are always digging at the Christians and the Bible. So, but you know, origin of the species. I'm going to take a quote real quick to start out part 2. Okay, if you're watching this, you're probably either a Christian that's really interested in seeing what the other side thinks, or you're looking to be critical and you're an evolutionist with your facts and what have you. But page 523 in Origin of the Species by Darwin, excuse me, is this quote: "Analogy would lead me to believe that all animals and plants are descended from some prototype. All organisms start from a common origin. From such low and intermediate forms, both animals and plants may have been developed. All organic things that have ever lived on the earth may be descended from one primordial form." May have. These, you know, might have, may have, possibly, not really sure. These are all common statements that you will find evolutionists saying. All right, but let's go on. And in the same book, billions of years, there was a primitive protozoa of unknown origin. That's another one. Unknown. It's not known. Unknowable, which became an unsegmented worm, which became a fish. Eons later, the fish became an amphibian, which became a reptile, and then the reptile became a bird. And then, let me get these straight. I gotta follow my notes or else I'm gonna get all tripped up here. Let's see, then later on, the bird became a mammal. The mammal ultimately became a monkey, and then we, as men, came from monkeys. The quote-unquote findings, remember, findings. Let me go through these really quick with you guys. Trust me, it's not worth having to re-record this. Listen, okay. Back, I want to start with the newest and work my way backwards. You have A. ramidus, okay, 1994, found in Ethiopia, a tooth, a molar, and 8 other partial teeth, and a part of a skull. There was arm bone parts found, and there was, the arm bone was found actually 500 meters away from the other things, and so here's the thing: A. ramidus is morphologically far closer to that of a chimpanzee than any known hominid. Okay, and this was by White, Sewa, and Ash. Can't pronounce some of these names. These are scientists. These aren't Christians trying to do away with things. These are scientists saying, we found this. Turned out not to be quite what we thought it was. Let's go to Lucy. Lucy was the one before that, okay? In 1974 in Africa, there was found a V-shaped bone um, resembling the jawbone, and um, other assorted bones, skull fragments, part of a skull cap, a pelvic bone, and it turned out to be more pronounced than apes. She appeared to walk upright, and this was the argument that they made, that she was clearly the missing link. Okay, but here's what turns out. Okay, the brain was actually too small, and the V-shaped jaw was not even human-like. All right. Again, going back, they affiliated it with another monkey species, or even, let's go down a little ways because I'm going to show you something. All right. Then what you have is Ramapithecus. Okay, the Ramapithecus was found in 1930. What was found was jaw and tooth fragments. I have to read from my notes because I don't have all the books right here. It claimed to be the 14 million year old intermediate between humans and ape-like creatures. Intermediate is another word that the evolutionists use as the missing link. It is the one thing that connects one species with another, supposedly. Okay, and in 1970s, because a baboon was found in Ethiopia with similar dental and jaw structures to Ramapithecus, it was dropped from the human line. They said, oh, okay, Ramapithecus was actually a monkey. There we go. Go figure, right? So, then we go back to 1922, 1925, but I'm going to start with 1922 because the fossil was actually found. Fossil evidence found was used as absolute, this is another thing, absolute evidence. In the 1925 Scopes trial, it was claimed to be the 1 million year old missing link. This was it. This was definitely it. Nebraska man. Unfortunately, right after the Scopes trial, quickly, the evidence, or the proof, in quotes, was dropped, as the jaw and the tooth turned out to be that of a pig. That was definite. The V-shaped one that we talked about earlier was also thought to be of something in the pig family because of the structure, that it was too elongated. Don't ask. But these are all facts, okay? The Bible, God, that's all myth. But this is fact. Okay, so the next fact is we have Piltdown Man. Piltdown Man, his parts were found in Piltdown, England in 1908. Actually, between 1908 and 1912. They don't have the exact date, being the exact science that evolution is. They don't have the exact date that it was found. But it was claimed to be the 500,000 year old missing link. Not a million years. We're kind of tweaking the numbers a little bit. We don't want to look too stupid. Okay. In 1955, it was, however, declared a fraud. Why? Because the bones were digitally stained to give the appearance of being aged, then filed down to fit together. Scientists are corrupt. They do this a lot to try to make things fit because they have to prove their case. Next, you have, and I thought this was named after me. Maybe I'm the missing link. Java Man. I do like my coffee. Nice hot cup of Java first thing in the morning. But we have Java Man. 1891, this ape-like skull, skull cap, not even the whole skull, but the skull cap was found. Okay, 40 feet away from the skull cap in 1892, a human-like thigh bone was found. Okay, now I'm going to give you a quote from another scientist. This is from Dr. Rudolf Virchow. Okay, in my opinion, this creature was an animal, a giant gibbon. In fact, the thigh bone has not the slightest connection with the human skull. Okay? They don't even go together. They're saying that they came from two different things. Then, after that, they decided Dubois was going to keep the information hidden and locked up. Um, maybe something Obama learned from evolution. Maybe he's a missing link. Dubois then uh, insisted that Java Man was not a man, but a creature intermediate to the gibbons and the humans. Since 1950, anthropologists and textbooks have been calling this Java Man Homo erectus. When you go and you see in your textbooks, even though, now, you see, again, this was proven that this Java Man could not have been a missing link. Yeah, they still tried to call it the missing link. It just amazes me. I'm not going to go too far into all this. Those are actually the main findings as far back as that goes. Guys, the evolutionists can sit and knock Christianity and the Bible, and we believe in a mythological character. I'm not seeing the evidence on your side. I mean, you find a lot of things, they're disqualified, they're disproven, they're thrown out, swept under the carpet as they are not provable. Here's my thing, and this is kind of what I wanted to close with, okay? You have to have a lot of faith, as I described to you from those quote-unquote findings and facts, and you have to have a lot of faith to buy into a lot of that. When you go, I took a lot of science courses. I come from school. I'm in grade school. I majored in astronomy, geology. We learned how to do all these different things and stuff, and things, and checking things, and dating, and I mean, there's a lot of things that are wrong in science. We tweak things. I've done that before. I've tweaked things myself. You're in 7th grade. You gotta make this thing fit. Here's my thing, and this is what I want to close with. And rather than knocking Christianity from the evolutionist side, and I hear this a lot, especially with this Richard Dawkins character. He this goon who goes around writing these books and sounding all profound and wonderful. People follow him like crazy, stating that there is no God. You know what? There is no missing link. Why not work on that instead of tearing down the fact that there's no God? Okay, because it takes as much faith for a person to believe in God as it does to believe in these bogus findings that evolutionists are so desperately trying to find and make fit. I just say, don't knock the Bible. Don't knock. There's a magazine that I get, Biblical Archaeology. They're finding more that lines up with Scripture, with the names, with the places, with the groups of people that match than there are with Lucy and other missing links, quote unquote. So that's that. I'm going to stop talking before I get cut off again and have to redo all this. And frankly, this is ridiculous, as evolution is. God bless and good night.